The Honourable Governor for Oro.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. My questions are to the good Minister for Department of Personal Management. And I'd like the Ministers for Treasury, Ministers for Finance and Planning to take note. The questions are in relation to an audit report that was presented to the Prime Minister on the 15th of June, 2023 this year, by the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reforms, and then also presented on to the Minister for Department of Personal Management. This audit came about as a result of some work initiated by the O'Neill government in 2014, but eventually has been completed by the government of Marape also, and the report has been presented to the good Minister for Department of Planning, Personal Management, And I'm asking this question so that we may inform the people of this country what is happening insofar as this audit report is concerned regarding the massive blowout that we face every year in paying our government payroll. So since this has been in the media, it's only appropriate that we inform the people what is happening with this situation. Now, I understand the good minister and his department have been undertaking some work already based on that report, but perhaps he can inform us as to what they are doing with the report that was presented, the establishment of the ministerial committee, and therefore the endorsement of the technical committee that's going to implement the 74 recommendations that came from that report, and what actions he will undertake as the chairman of that ministerial committee. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister for Department of Personal Management.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I thank the Governor for Oro for almost 3 questions to ask, who is also the chairman of the Public Sector Reform Parliamentary Committee and his committee. Firstly, I'd like to commend through you, Acting Speaker, the Governor, for his keen interest and also taking the leadership role in the Parliamentary Committee to keep a proper check and balance on the executive government, and also for working towards making sure that we try our very best to, I will not say that we reduce the government payroll, I mean in terms of our government wage bill, because if you say that, Mr. Acting Speaker, you would also have at the back of your mind the ever-increasing number of teachers that we need, and the increased number of health workers that we need, and the increased number of police personnel that we need because of the increased population. You can only talk about reducing the wage bill of payroll bill if we control the population of this country. But for as long as the population of this country increases, you would obviously need more teachers, more health workers, and more police personnel. So that's from the asset. So when one says that you will drastically decrease the manpower cost in this country, at the back of your mind, you should also be mindful that the population of this country is almost increasing every month, every year. So, Mr. Acting Speaker, that's the issue. Now, going back to the question that the good Chairman and the Governor has asked, yes, the report was presented to the Prime Minister, and then from there it has to be gone through. We have to follow the process, so it goes through NEC, and then from the NEC had to approve the formation and the establishment of the Ministerial Committee, which I was privileged to chair, and the inclusion of Minister for Treasury, Minister for Finance, and Minister for ICT. We have not met yet as the Ministerial Committee, but the Secretariat has already started working. The Secretariat is headed by the Chief Secretary. They've met 2 times. I'm fully briefed almost every week on what they're doing. As far as my department is concerned, we've already started progressing the implementation of the 11 recommendations by Deloitte. 11. So those 11 recommendations by Deloitte, my department has started. I want to inform the good governor and the chairman, through you, acting speaker, that we've started cleansing the payroll with our own department, my own department, the Department of Special Management, and also Milne Bay PHA and Milne Bay Provincial Administration. So those two are in progress, and we will start to flow down. So administratively and within the government bureaucracy, we've already started. Sometimes we take it for sometimes we may misunderstand that because the ministers and us politicians are not meeting and working, we think that the public servants are not working, but they're actually working. So they've met 2 times, and they were looking on that report with 11 recommendations. Apart from that, I would like to inform the Parliament also, through you, acting speaker, that we've also, my department has already purchased and installed the new version of the election payroll, version 2021. So they are now progressing to identify what is happening in there so that we can deal with it. Finally, I'd like to also assure the House and the people of Papua New Guinea that we are doing all our very best through my department to see that our sister agencies like the Finance Department and Treasury working together with my department. I'd like to also inform the House and members of the Parliament through your speaker that all of us should know that we don't actually see the money that goes to our public servants, although it's budgeted for under each agency head. For example, provincial administrations under item 111, you have your budget there, appropriation there, but it goes directly from payroll in finance. So those are information that we must also know. The Department of Special Management doesn't see the money. The Department of Special Management keeps the records of all our well over 130,000 public servants in this country. So just for information's sake, extending on from the good governor's question and also the chairman of the Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reform, we are doing our best, and the Chief Secretary is also at work. And finally, I'd like to also inform the Honourable House that the budget is being put together. Some of the recommendations will require budgetary support because it's not going to be cheap to cleanse the system, and not just cleansing it, but putting a system that will do a tracking system to identify if there are loopholes. And I think one of the problems that we face in this country, as far as payroll is concerned, is the offline payment. The offline payment is, Mr. Acting Speaker, is the payment that is processed for leave fares, for allowances and all that. That's the kind of payment that sometimes we don't keep record of. So that's the part that we want to scrutinize. But I will assure the good governor and the chairman that we will report back as soon as we start the process. But our budget is prepared now for next year, and we'll be able to secure enough money to get the job done and fully implement the 11 recommendations by Deloitte. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.